What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm here right now because I figured I should make a little special intro for my videos, since some of you guys may not know who I am and are just finding my channel because you are here to see a review about a KLX250 with fuel injection from the model year 2018. So if you are new to the channel, my name is Jeff. This is JH Motor Club. This is my KLX250. I also have a Supercharged Corvette on the channel that makes some appearances at times. My channel is all about having fun and my motor adventures, whether that be cars or motorcycles. So if you are into either of those things, whether it be the KLX, the Corvette, doing fun things with cars or motorcycles, wheelies, moto vlogs, drag racing, being a hooligan with the Corvette or the KLX, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now we can go ahead and get on to the normal intro of the video. So thank you guys for tuning in.
We were talking and I couldn't even realize what the fuck was going on.
Step up, baby, come and board this. Fly across the country, they can't afford this. Trying to make it, Forbes list. Listen for the drums, when the drums hit. Step up, baby, they can't afford this. Fly across the country, come and board this. Trying to make it, Forbes list. Listen for the drums, when the drums hit.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another video on the KLX. As you saw in the title, this is going to be my 1,000 mile review of my 2018 KLX 250. Of course, this is the fuel injected model here in the US, and I will be explaining what I have done to the bike, my thoughts on the bike now that I've had it for 1,000 miles and over a year, and do I regret my decision? So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. So let's go ahead and start with my thoughts on my KLX. I have a full FMF exhaust with the FMF Megabomb and the FMF Q4 Slip On hex, and I have an EJK Fuel Controller and KDX Snorkel. Those are the mods that give me more power. Then I have a 13-tooth Countershaft Sprocket to give me a little bit more torque for some nice wheelies. Then I have a Smog Delete for better efficiency, helps the bike run a little bit cooler, well, the pipe at least. And then for comfort, I have a Seat Concepts comfort seat. Let's go ahead and start with the power. In stock form, the KLX is a lot of fun around the city because, let's face it, what 250 that's lightweight, has some good torque to it, isn't fun, especially when you can do stuff like this. As you can see, it's really flickable. You can pretty much go over whatever bump you want, and the KLX will be unaffected by it. But that's not to say that the KLX couldn't use some extra power. So that is why I put the mods on it that I did. Yes, nice backfire. So I'm still learning how to wheelie. It takes me a couple of tries to get the front wheel up. Oh, hello, security. Nothing to see here. But as I was saying, it takes me a few tries to get the front wheel up. In stock form, I never really tried second gear wheelies. I only tried first gear, and I could get the wheel up, but you would run out of revs really quickly, and especially for a newbie, it'd be hard to get to balance point. So with these mods, as you can see, the front wheel can definitely come up. You can see in some of my other videos that I've gotten it up a lot higher. See if we can't do that now. But these mods definitely do make it a lot more... Why are you stopping? These mods do make it a lot more wheeliable. There you go. You guys can see now that the KLX now definitely has the power to be able to get the front wheel up in second gear. So with these mods I have on here, there's plenty of passing power in the city. Speed limit's under 50 miles an hour. If you want to pass someone, you can do it. Unless they want to be a real jerk about it and they're driving a somewhat sporty car such as Corvette, Mustang, Camaro, something like that. Another thing is speed bumps. You can just float right over them. But back to the power. So with these mods I have on the KLX, I did a highway test. The bike probably will top out at about 90 plus. I've had it up to 90 indicated. It'll reach that speed pretty quickly for a 250. But passing power, if you're going to pass someone, you have to be going at a speed of less than 70 indicated in order to have a shot. But that's not to say that the KLX isn't any good on the highway, because you can definitely ride in the right lanes of the highway, or wherever you're at, the slower lanes of traffic. And if there's some camper there that you need to get by, you can definitely do it. Go ahead and check out the KLX250 highway runs and urban moto antics and the stage 1 KLX highway test, and you can see what I'm talking about, that you can ride in the right lane, and in places like Oregon you can actually ride in the fast lane and have enough power to not make people angry. And of course you can have fun like that backing it in. So that's pretty much all I got in terms of power. For my needs, it works great. I can ride anywhere within a 100-mile radius to these off-road places, and I can ride there comfortably at an indicated 72 miles an hour, which would translate to roughly about 65 miles per hour GPS, just with some of my testing for the speedometer. Now, if you're going to be riding this longer than 100 miles, you're definitely going to want to have good gear. You're going to want to have earplugs, and you're probably going to be sitting in the right lane for a while, so you're going to want a comfortable seat. So of course there's going to be speed demon guys. You're going to say, yeah, the KLX isn't that fast, underpowered, blah blah blah. Well, yeah, stock for them, it is kind of a dog at times, but get the right mods on it, FMF header, snorkel, and the fuel controller, you should be fine. Of course, if you're looking for a sport bike, I don't even know why you'd be considering KLX250, because if you're considering a sport bike, I don't know, it's kind of self-explanatory. You just want to stick to the streets and just have some fun taking twisties and whatnot. Alright, so for the last thing that I'm going to say about the power is that in its current state with the stage 1 mods, the KLX is just about perfect. It'll top out at above 90 miles an hour. You can cruise down the highway at a GPS speed of 65 miles an hour. You can hit trails, hop curbs, rip berms, do all that fun stuff, and it'll do it perfectly. You can wheelie it. You can have fun in low traction situations. And it really gets up and goes. So for my final verdict of power, I'm going to rate it as a solid 8 out of 10. Of course, people will say that it can go either way, up or down, but it's not the fastest bike out there, but it's certainly not the slowest. You're going to be able to beat most people off of a traffic light, and you're certainly going to have fun with the amount of torque it gives. So let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, and that is comfort. After putting the number of miles that I did on the KLX, I can say first and foremost the thing that you need to improve is the seat. With the stock seat, I could barely ride for an hour without my rear end getting sore. And part of that, well, actually most of that, wasn't actually due to the firmness of the seat. It was actually due to the width of the seat. And that's something that you get with the seat concept seat, is that it's a lot wider. So according to physics law, that spreads out the force that your rear end is putting on the seat, therefore it is more comfortable. You can think about it like this. If you've ever seen those people who walk across a bed of nails, the reason they're able to do that is because the nails are so close together that the weight of their body is actually being spread out across each of those little tips. If it were more concentrated on those tips, then of course it would puncture their skin, but since the nails are so close together, it acts as a flat surface of nails where their weight is spread out over the tips of the nails. That is how I can explain how the seat concept seat is more comfortable, because it is wider. It also is a little bit softer, but it still provides adequate support. Now, other than the seat, ergonomically, I'm about 5'11", and the leg room is plentiful. With my legs on the pegs, I don't feel like I'm cramped up at all. The handlebars are a little narrow compared to some of my friends who have kind of stunted out supermotos, but for me it's comfortable. So, since this is a 1,000-mile review, and I'm rating the bike as how it sits right now, I would give comfort a 7 out of 10, and the reason it's not higher is because if you're moving at a higher rate of speed, of course you're going to get some wind resistance. That's just the nature of the beast, riding a dual sport, but after a while, it does get kind of annoying. Like I said, you need some earplugs for longer trips, a good helmet, but if you want to ignore the wind, sure, it'll score higher at, you know, 8 or 9, because it's upright seating position, you got plenty of leg room, the seat height's low, but just because of the wind resistance, I'm rating it a little bit low. So those are the two main points there that have changed since I got the bike when I did my first review. Things that are still the same: agility, of course. It's really flickable. As you guys saw there at the mall, you can just throw it back and forth. It's a lot of fun. Doesn't take a lot of weight to get the bike to turn. You can carve twisties even with the stock tires on the 21/18 setup, and you'll still have a blast. When it comes to traction in the corners, it really boils down to your tires. There's people out there running Pirelli MT21 scraping pegs on the stock wheel setup. So if you're looking for some more traction, it's really all on your tires. And then the last thing I am going to touch regarding my thoughts on the bike is reliability. Reliability, all I've done was do an oil change, and that was really recently. I think I did it right before I hit 1,000 miles. The oil looked great. I put the mods on probably with 600 miles on the bike, and reliability wise, it's awesome. You can beat a 250 to death. It'll take it. Of course, there are stories about people who have issues with their bike. Some people have issues with the water pump and the bike leaking a bit of coolant out of a hole down there on the water pump. I haven't had any issues. Haven't touched the coolant. Only thing I've done is change the oil and do all the mods to the bike. So if you're worried about having to work on your bike, don't worry with the KLX, because it really is a bulletproof bike, as they call it, and it'll give you a lot of miles. Now that I've finished my thoughts on the bike, I'll go ahead and get into talking about the big question: do I regret getting the KLX? And in short, the answer is no, not one bit. Every time I hop on the KLX, there's always something to do. There's always curbs to hop, berms to rip, wheelies to be had, a fistful of throttle, put a smile on your face. The only thing that has changed in my 1,000 mile ownership of the bike is my openness to other motorcycles. When I got the KLX, I originally wanted something like a DRZ 400 Supermoto or a Husqvarna 501. At the time, my budget wasn't there, so I went ahead and got the KLX. I didn't consider the Honda because I thought it was too heavy and the motor was just an absolute dog. I didn't consider the WR because, again, for that price, you could get something like a DRZ or a Husqvarna 250. But the thing that's changed from then to now is that I've realized that each of those bikes has their own purpose, and each of those purchasers of those bikes will use their bike for a different thing. The WR would make a great supermoto bike. To get the power out of it, you really got to wring it out. The Honda has a lot of bottom end grunt. It's good for trails, you can throw it around. Has a really stout frame to it. Also, the WR does have a little bit better suspension. It's set up for heavier riders. From when I rode my friends, has stiffer suspension. And then the DRZ 400, it's honestly just a bigger 250. Yeah, you do notice a little bit of weight when you're throwing it around at slower speeds, but if you're wheeling it and all that, you're probably not going to notice it that much. If I had the money right now and the purpose that I use my motorcycle for, would I get something more powerful? Probably not, because I enjoy the city characteristics of the KLX, having to wring it out to get the power, and it also has great torque for wheelies and whatnot. I really don't think I would end up with another motorcycle if I were to go at it now. And that's not to say that I think the KLX is for everybody. There's definitely been people who have expressed their opinions to me saying that the KLX is useless on the highway, or that for their needs it's just underpowered or even too heavy. But everybody uses their motorcycle for a different purpose, and at the end of the day, it's really just about having fun. And for me, the KLX does that perfectly. I'm comfortable when I ride the KLX after I put the seat on. I got more than enough power to have fun in the city. Every time I grab a fistful of throttle, puts a smile on my face. So as I was saying, if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably still end up with the same motorcycle. KLX is a great first motorcycle, and it definitely has the fun factor to live on with you for a long time. Now, of course, with all that being said, I do have some more mods in the works. So if you guys are not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because you are definitely going to want to see some of the mods that are coming for the KLX. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Share it to your friends and those who may find it useful or enjoy it. I hope you guys found some value in my 1,000 mile review of the 2018 KLX250. And of course, with all that being said, join the club, and I'll see you in the next one.